Hello everyone, DonTheCrown here, and today I want to make a quick video to talk about how the heck is it day 2, and I have three of the mythic uniques that I need for the build, and I've actually dropped a total of 5 mythic uniques already, and the answer is pretty simple, that we've been farming a lot of tormented bosses. But the problem with tormented bosses in the past has been, how the heck do you get Stygian Stones? And typically the Stygian Stones, for the most part, you get a ton from like doing the reputation and the season journey. And then it feels really horrible having to go farm these out of the pit. The drop rate is kind of still abysmally low, but we kind of found a way to get a ton of them from doing the new Infernal Hordes. Not really a ton, but we're getting more than average than if we were just probably farming the pit. And that is just doing the Infernal Hordes. And one of the important things is to get as much of the resource here for killing enemies. And we're going to kind of talk through my general best practices for this. So I think the best we've gotten right now is almost 700 of these, I think on a tier 6. And pretty much what I look for when I'm looking at these is not just like, hey, this one has more Aether, but I think that this one here, which is called Exalted Hordes, this one I think is the very best. And so killing normal monsters does spawn Aether events, and this actually combined with anything that gives you Hellborns is ludicrous. It is very good. Hopefully we'll get to see this combination in this video here. But what I do is I just pretty much focus on killing the normal enemies as much as possible. Even if other enemies are up, even if other things are going on, I try to make sure that I'm looking at the mini-map and aiming my like firewall wave wherever the red dots are. And the reason for that is because that's what causes you to get more events. And the events are the only way that you get Aether. And so you're just not, I mean, I guess you could get a random butcher show up. But for the most part, your primary way of getting Aether is trying to force as many events as possible. And so getting the Exalted Hordes modifier and then killing as many enemies as possible is really the best way to go. I don't even see more enemies here. I think they're just dying instantaneously as I fireball out. So we're just trying to fill up this meter as much as we possibly can. And then when I see the things fill up and pop up, we try to go to them immediately. Now, if you stand like around here between these two, if you're in a group, and then over here, if you were in a group, this will be close enough for you to activate either of these if they turn into like being an elite, which does need you to get close to them. Now, one of the great things about if you get the speed one, again, if you do get the Hellborns, they will just come to you immediately. You don't have to walk close to the marker here. In order to activate them, they'll just come to you, which makes them really good, and you can get a ton of them. And the Hellborn seems like once you unlock them, you start getting a lot of modifiers that just makes it so that Hellborns give you even more Aether per kill. And there's a whole bunch of modifiers that make it so that you just get more Hellborn every time Hellborn are spawning. So eventually, like, your Hellborn are like 3 or 4 of them are spawning at a time per event. Each one is giving you about 4 Aether per pop, so you're getting about 16 Aether per event, and hopefully that's something we'll get to see here a little bit. As you can see, I'm just kind of like going close to these ones and just paying attention to my mini map as to where enemies are. And yeah, they definitely made this whole mechanic a lot easier to deal with. So we can see here that now we have masses spawning Aether Lord on death. So all of these I think are not pretty good. Ideally, Aether Lords I think are only good if you have this one and this one together. And I think that masses spawn Aether Lord on death is the best because it doesn't take the place of another event. If you have the boss one, it's one that you have to walk up to, whereas that one, the Aether Lord just spawned. And once again, I'm not going to give a crap about, actually fighting this guy. I'm just going to get close enough to activate him and just go right back to killing normal mobs and, killing the different masses and stuff. And, they will die as I'm shooting in their general direction, but they are not my priority because I don't believe that they fill up the meter almost at all. And really, we're just looking to fill up this meter here as much as we can. And so anywhere we see the red dots in the minimap, we're shooting. By the way, if you're like wondering what the heck this build is, it's a fireball build for Sork. And I will have a video guide either up already or, you know, up shortly on the channel, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We've been playing this like all day today. And just really popping off. We've done all of the tormented bosses. We've done Uber Lilith. And yeah, just having a great time. Okay, so none of these are good. I'm just going to take the ones here. The Aether Fiends explode. Maybe that'll help the clear a little bit. You really do need to get Hellborn. Otherwise, you kind of aren't going to get an insane amount here. Getting the Exalted Hordes does help you get a ton of events. But you do kind of want Hellborn as well. And as you can see, now we're pretty much just going from event to event to event. The like meter is like filling up like crazy all of the time. Actually, maybe killing the boss does fill up the meter a little bit. But as always, like whenever we see normal mobs are giga priority for us. Also, getting into Soul Spires does seem to help, you know, clear them a lot faster. I think you can just kill mobs if they're inside of them. But yeah. Also always making sure we're picking up the stuff. And yeah, so we didn't get any of the really great combination here. You can also end up going like elites, and there's one of the options that makes it so that elites are more likely to spawn. But we're just going to take this Aether Lord one here. This is going to make those bosses now drop 6 Aether as opposed to just 3. So anytime those masses pop off, we'll be able to get ourselves basically an additional 6 Aether from that. And if they spawn normally, now they're giving 6 as opposed to just 3 like they would have been before. As you can see, like our build, especially for like a tier 5 here, is way strong enough just to like make a joke out of all of the content for the most part. And we're able to stay, you know, relatively healthy despite being incredibly focused on doing damage. Like I have no ruby gems in any of my gear at the moment right now, which is kind of hilarious. We have a total of like 13,000 life. We're just kind of doing damage basically. Now of course we'll switch stuff around if we decide to go like push the pit or something, but it's not something that I'm really interested in doing right now. All right. So once you clear all 6 waves, we're up to about 196 of these things. This is realistically a bad run. You know, looking to get like 400 or 500 of this. Really getting Hellborns does help out. And then you just want to go kill these bosses here. And try to keep the bosses like a decent little distance away from me. Like if I'm point blank, I'm going to be doing less damage here. So like this Gleb, the flame dude, is going to probably be taking less damage. But also note that hitting guys that are against the wall, like my fireball won't bounce behind them. So it's also kind of bad. So ideally you want to like get into a position where you can kind of shotgun through both the bosses for all 3 of them. And always remember to pick up your burning Aether here at the end. So we end up at about 211. So there's 4 boxes here. We have loot box. We have the big loot box, which I'll always click. This costs 60. So we can get some stuff from this. And then this spoils of material here is kind of the juice that we're looking for, because this can drop Stygian Stones. And so we're just going to click this repeatedly, and maybe we'll get lucky this time. Typically, if you have like 400 or 500, you're definitely going to be getting a Stygian Stone. So every single run, you'll be picking up a Stygian Stone. It's like nice and consistent. But as you can see here, we did not get very lucky with either our run or our box. Now, spoils of gold, also going to be popping out tons of gold. But there's one more trick too with these Stygian Stones. So they changed how kind of tormented bosses just work all together. So previously you would only want to use these on Andariel and Duriel because those had the best mythic drop rates, and if you use them on the lower bosses, you weren't getting extra boss summon materials. Now we've been using these actually on the lower guys, or anyone really that you want to farm a specific unique from. So we're looking for, you know, guys that drop Gloves of the Illuminator or Staff of Endless Rage. And we're just farming those guys tormented all day. You can just pop them right back in. And it's just been relatively super easy just to continuously farm these. And if you do a whole bunch of the Infernal Hordes here, you're going to get a whole bunch of Stygian Stones. Going out and getting stuff like Living Steel is always pretty easy to do. And as you can see, like even after doing a whole bunch of Andariel and Duriels, I've still got like a ton of Shard of Agonies left from doing a ton of Grimoires earlier. And you're getting like 5 times the materials off Grimoire than you did before. So before you'd be like, if you did a normal Grimoire or a tormented one, you would get 1 shard, maybe 2 if you're lucky. Now you're always getting 5. And so it costs like only 3 times the amount of materials to do tormented Grimoire, but you're getting 5 times the materials, which means you're getting to do even more Duriels. And since this method is going to give you even more Stygian Stones, you're going to be able to just continuously just go and do tormented lower bosses into tormented higher bosses. More tormented bosses you do, the more mythic uniques you're going to find. And they also changed how mythic unique drop rate works. So before it used to be like when you kill the boss, there's a 1.5% chance to get a mythic unique. And now it will drop 5 pieces of gear, and each of these has a 1.5% chance to drop a mythic. So it's a total of 7.5% chance all added together. It's not really how the odds truly work, but it is kind of like a lot better chances, which also means you could drop 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 mythics all at the same time. I've already seen people drop 2 mythics. So it's going to be a pretty fun season. There's going to be a lot of really cool gear, a lot of cool changes. All of the uniques have been updated and changed. And I'm just very excited to see what people are putting together. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and we'll see you again soon.